You ever get that feeling? You know, you're scrolling, just endlessly scrolling, phones buzzing constantly, but you still feel kind of alone, totally
Yeah.
disconnected from anything, well, real.
Yeah, like you're just sort of going through the motions, maybe a bit robotic.
Exactly. Like a cog in the machine. Well, today's deep dive is a bit different. We're not looking at the usual stuff.
Okay.
We've actually got these really fascinating creative notes for a music video. It's called Mechanical Souls.
Oh, interesting. Mechanical soul.
Oh, and it's like a visual roadmap. It
Yeah.
seems to be exploring that exact feeling, you know, being robotic, disconnected in this modern world.
So we're looking at the artistic vision behind it, how they're trying to comment on, well, how we live now.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And these notes, they're super detailed. Scene setups, camera shots, even like notes on the actors' performances.
Wow.
And it all revolves around this really specific, like black and metallic colors and this mood they describe as
Emotional robotics.
emotional and robotic. Okay. Right. So our mission today is to unpack all these creative choices, see what insights they offer into this feeling of modern disconnection.
Sounds good. Where should we start? The visuals.
Yeah, let's start there. The visual language, they're really specific about the color palette. Black and metallic, what does that immediately bring up for you in this context?
Well, black, often suggests emptiness, maybe isolation. And metallic tones, they feel cold, hard, artificial.
Right.
So putting them together, it instantly kind of highlights that core idea, doesn't it? That emotional emptiness that can come with being so plugged in sets a detached tone.
Totally. It feels very deliberate. And then there's that mood descriptor, emotional robotic. That seems like such a contradiction.
It does, almost a paradox.
How can something be both?
I think that's the key, the juxtaposition. It suggests maybe a performance of emotion, like the kind we might curate online, perhaps. But without the genuine feeling underneath, the robotic part implies it's programmed, like a response rather than a real spontaneous emotion.
That makes sense. And the notes mention a dress code too, all black, or black with silver metal bits.
Reinforcing that visual theme.
Yeah, it creates this uniformity, right? Like maybe individuality gets lost in this sort of manufactured look.
Kind of aesthetic conformity.
Okay, let's look at the very first scene described. It's Zaina, presumably the artist,
Yeah.
sitting alone on the floor. She has a guitar.
Okay. Traditional instrument, organic expression.
But around her, it's not cozy. There are loose wires everywhere, a big reel of wires, and even an old, like, rotary telephone.
An old phone. Interesting.
And scattered around are these glowing balls for ambiance. What do you make of that mix of symbols? The guitar, the wires, the old phone.
Well, the guitar, like you said, it's personal, heartfelt. It clashes immediately with those tangled wires, which feel like, well, entanglement, complexity.
Yeah.
And the old phone, maybe it represents a simpler time, a more direct kind of communication we've lost, or maybe just outdated tech cluttering the space.
And the glowing balls, what about those?
They're intriguing. Maybe they symbolize something artificial, like manufactured moments of light or connection in this wired up world, a bit of fake warmth.
Little glimmers of something manufactured. Okay. And the shots they want for this scene. A solo wide shot of her, then one with a beam of light on her and close-ups on the guitar. How do those angles set the mood?
The wide shot really emphasizes her isolation, right?
Yeah.
Surrounded by all this tech stuff.
Yeah.
The beam of light could be maybe pointing to her inner world, her creativity, like a spotlight on the human element amidst the clutter.
Okay.
And focusing on the guitar reinforces that idea of organic expression. It sort of anchors us before we dive deeper into the disconnection theme.
I'm establishing the core tension. Okay, so from Zaina alone, we move into a hallway in scenes 2 and 3, and it's full of people. But they're doing these very specific, kind of strange things. The notes call them robotic actions, taking selfies over and over, just scrolling endlessly on phones, laughing hysterically, but at nothing.
Wow.
Even putting on blindfolds and wrapping wires around their arms. What's the commentary there, do you think, on how we act now?
Well, this is where the critique gets really sharp, isn't it? These actions are exaggerated, sure, but they point to some potentially unhealthy ways we engage with technology.
Definitely.
Endless selfies, the scrolling. It speaks to that surface level engagement, maybe seeking validation. The empty laughter feels very performative, like online interactions sometimes are.
Totally performative.
And being literally tied up in wires while blindfolded. That's a powerful metaphor for feeling trapped by tech, maybe unaware of the real world around us.
It's quite a bleak picture, really.
Yeah.
Then scene 3 adds another layer. Zaina is walking barefoot through a path made of those glowing balls.
Barefoot suggests vulnerability, maybe connection to the physical.
Maybe. But she now has wires sort of loosely around her neck.
Ah, so she's not immune.
Right. And meanwhile, the other cast members are still doing their robotic things. Some are just standing totally still, wrapped up and blindfolded. So what's that juxtaposition saying? Is Zaina finding a different path, or is she just caught in a different way?
That's a great question. The barefoot walk feels more grounded, maybe more aware than the others, but the wires around her neck show she's still part of this system, still connected or tangled in it.
Still tethered.
Exactly. And comparing her to the completely static, blindfolded figures, it makes you wonder, are there different levels of being caught? Is she trying to navigate it more consciously, or is her trap just more subtle?
Interesting. Okay, scene 4 feels really key. Zaina interacts with the cast. She offers them a choice.
A choice between what?
Between wires and light, represented by those glowing balls again.
Okay.
And guess what most people choose?
Let me guess. The wires.
Yep. The vast majority pick the wires. What's the significance there?
Well, that choice is pretty loaded, isn't it? Wires versus light. It's like choosing continued tech entanglement, maybe the comfort of the known, even if it's numbing, versus choosing something potentially more illuminating, more authentic, but maybe unknown or harder. The fact they choose wires suggests how necessary or maybe addictive that connection feels.
Yeah, the pull is strong.
Yeah.
But there's one person, the notes say they're contemplative. They pause, actually consider the light.
Ah, a moment of doubt.
Exactly. But then they choose the wires too. That hesitation seems really important.
It does. That moment of considering the light, it's like a crack showing. It suggests there's an awareness of an alternative, an internal conflict.
Right.
That tension between the ease or habit of being plugged in and maybe a deeper desire for something more real, a struggle many people probably feel.
Definitely. And then comes this really striking sequence they call unplug, replug. Zaina actually unplugs the wire from this specific person.
Okay, what happens?
The notes say emotion comes back to their face, like visibly.
Wow, a moment of clarity.
But then almost like a reflex, they plug themselves back in. There's a glitch described, and boom, the emotion is gone again. Back to robotic.
Oof, that's powerful.
What does that say about how tight the grip is? This robotic world.
It really demonstrates the depth of that dependency, doesn't it? Even when shown genuine feeling, the habit, the pull of the digital default is just overwhelming.
Yeah.
And the glitch. It suggests the return to numbness isn't even fully conscious. It's like the system rebooting to its standard emotionless state shows how deep this stuff might be affecting us.
It's a bit scary how easily we can slip back.
Yeah.
Okay, scene 5. The cast is now in a circle. They're blindfolded or just have lifeless expressions, all wrapped in wires, facing inward.
Facing inward.
And Zaina is in the middle, singing. What does that image, the circle, suggest here?
The circle often means unity, but here, facing inward, wrapped in wires, blindfolded, it feels like collective isolation.
Right. Trapped together but apart.
Exactly. They're physically near but completely cut off from each other by the wires, the lack of sight. Zaina in the middle? Is she trying to reach them with her song?
Me.
Or is she trapped too? Her song may be a lament about their shared situation. The notes say she tries to break free but can't.
Yeah, it underscores that feeling of being caught in the web.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, next up, scene 6. This one is Zaina and another cast member called Roberto, sitting back-to-back on chairs.
Back-to-back, okay. Physical closeness, but no direct contact.
Right, and they're both wired up, blindfolded, but here's the contrast. Zaina is struggling. She's loosening her wires, takes off the blindfold, lets out this big sigh.
Okay, she's actively trying to disconnect.
But Roberto, totally unresponsive, just sits there. What's the symbolism of them back-to-back with the different reactions?
The back-to-back setup screams lack of connection, despite being right there, sharing space, but in totally separate realities.
Yeah.
Zaina's struggle, her sigh, it shows the effort it takes, maybe the frustration of trying to break free in a world pushing you to stay plugged in.
Roberto's stillness just highlights how deep the apathy or immersion can go for some. Total passivity. And I mentioned using a fog machine here too. What could that add?
Fog. Well, it obscures things, right? Creates uncertainty, maybe a sense of being lost. It could amplify that feeling of disconnection, of not being able to see clearly, being lost in a digital haze.
Lost in the digital fog. I like that. Okay, finally, scene 7. This is described as a hopeful finale.
Hopeful. Okay, how does that look?
The cast and Zaina are seated on chairs again, still wired up, sunglasses or blindfolds still on for some.
So wired, okay.
But Zaina, in the middle, starts this simple choreography. It's like a tug of war with a wire that everyone is holding.
Ah, collective action.
Yeah. And the notes say there are glowing lights now, suggesting a hint of hope. What does that synchronized movement imply, even though they're still holding wires?
Even with the wires, that shared action, that simple tug of war, it feels like the beginning of maybe collective awareness. A shared rhythm, a shared intention, even if it's small. It hints that maybe breaking free requires some kind of unified effort, and the lights reinforce that glimmer of possibility.
Okay, and then the climax. Zaina decisively snatches the main wire they're all holding. She stands up, walks towards the camera, just letting the wire dangle.
A definitive action.
And that action triggers everyone else. They start unplugging themselves. The notes say they look confused, like they're waking up.
Waking up, yeah.
The final shots are close-ups. People unplugging, dropping the wires. Then the screen fades to black as they, quote, break free. It feels quite liberating.
Definitely. Zaina's bold move acts as the catalyst. It suggests maybe it takes one person making a conscious break to spark a wider shift.
Right.
Their confusion makes sense, too. Stepping out of that mediated reality would be disorienting. But dropping the wires, fading to black, it's a clear symbol of release, breaking free from that robotic state.
So yeah, this whole concept for mechanical souls, it really digs deep, doesn't it? Emotional disconnection, our messy relationship with tech. But also, crucially, that potential for breaking free, for waking up.
It's quite powerful. It really shows how visual storytelling, even in, a music video format, can tackle these huge, complex feelings and social commentaries.
Absolutely. It gives you a lot to think about just from reading the plan.
For sure. It taps into experiences that feel very, very current for a lot of people living in this digital age.
So maybe a final thought then for you listening. Take a second to, think about your own relationship with technology. Are there times you feel a bit like that? Sort of wired, maybe disconnected even when you're connected? What would your own unplugged moment look like?
Yeah, it doesn't have to be dramatic.
No, it could be small. Just a conscious choice to put the phone down, to look up, or maybe something bigger. But just reflect maybe on the subtle ways tech shapes how you feel, how you interact, and what it might mean to carve out a little space for genuine unplugged connection.